Any individual who's affected by federal regulation has the right to have his or her voice heard in that process. But historically, most people have no idea what rulemaking is or when it's going on or how they can participate. We started the Regulation Room Project for one reason, and that is to help ordinary citizens exercise effectively their right to take part in federal regulation making.
Regulation Room is a website run by Cornell Law School that gives members of our democracy the opportunity to contribute their viewpoints to certain rules that federal agencies are making.
Regulation Room is important. It gives people who normally wouldn't be involved in the policymaking process a voice and a place where they can share their viewpoints and their concerns and their sort of on-the-ground knowledge on these federal agency rulemaking.
Administrative regulations are incomprehensible, and participating in the government is really hard. So people have a hard time with that, and I don't know, most I think rational people would probably give up. And as a result, if we make it easier and more understandable, the more we can break it down and make feedback less impossible, the more different voices we'll get in the regulatory process, the better feedback we'll get.
What we do, it actually really fascinates me every time I get to talk about Regulation Room, that we're actually doing really cutting-edge research here. We're really at the forefront of how to go beyond getting people just to vote or just voice their sentiment online into engaging with the details, with the substance of the policy, with offering the policymakers and decision makers a perspective that they have no other way of getting it other than through participation of individual members of the public.
We have the input of moms and dads. We have the input of of car mechanics and truck drivers and computer programmers and people who never would have thought to keep an eye on federal regulations before.
Moderation on Regulation Room is done by Cornell law students that are trained in the room group facilitation techniques. The point of moderation is to help users that come on to Regulation Room learn how to make their comments more effective.
So, for example, somebody who runs a small business might say, this regulation is really going to ruin my ability to make a profit. You cannot have this regulation. So what we do as students is we moderate that comment, reach out to that person and say, well, what aspect of this rule is going to be hard for your small business? Is there some other way the agency can achieve its goals but not have this impact on your business?
We are about building tools, experimenting with these tools, developing processes for reaching out to people who otherwise who have been traditionally excluded from these deliberative processes, and how again to help them engage effectively.
It's very important for people to at least have access to different regulations if they want to. If they want to learn about what the federal government is doing, I think it's important to have that transparency. And Regulation Room performs that transparency function by making regulations more accessible and making sure that